Hey, it is a happy Monday to you and yours, and welcome to the feature. It's called Clinical Mondays, where every single Monday we sit around with a guest and we get to dissect all things clinical, and sometimes we even tap into other topics that are not clinical but they are clinical, but sometimes they get too clinical. But you make your own judgment with this one. My name is Ivan Gosi for Pop and Chess, and welcome to it. And thank you so much to our YouTube fans. Why do I like to call them fans? Our YouTube family. Thank you so much for tuning in. And don't forget to click on subscribe and like. And also, if you're on Facebook, you can do so by sharing this live with your friends and tell them that Oran Pop is doing the things for this beautiful Monday. And you can comment on the comment section below and leave your comments and questions if you have them. And today we are talking all things youth and mental health. As we know that May it is Mental Health Month, and we just decided, me and the team, that we should focus all things on mental health and focus it on the youth. And thank you so much for being part of the feature today. We are talking to I'm a bit nervous because he laughs. I'm a bit nervous. I hope the nerves don't show off on camera, but I'm a bit nervous. I'm talking to Muhumuzi. He is a palm reader, and I'm trying so much to contain myself to not show him my palms, because the next thing, grab the hand and then read, and then my hands are on the live. And how are you doing?
I'm very good. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning.
No, thank you for the invitation.
Yep. We're talking mental health. I want to start off by saying, what are your reflections, or what are your views on mental health?
Mental health is a serious issue that most of us go through. And now the most dangerous part of it is that when you go through that, not understanding what's happening in your life. Now, when you go through mental change, sometimes it's just a change, a transition. When you go through that change, you lose a lot of things in your life. You start losing touch with yourself. You start not being able to see yourself beyond this person that you are. Because once your mental health is disturbed, also your desire to expand yourself dies. So this is where the biggest problem with mental health is. And then another thing is, you have no one to ask. You don't know, because you don't know what's going on with you. So you can't tell someone, actually, this is what 1, 2, 3, 4 that's happening in my life, because even you don't understand it, right? So sometimes it's a very difficult situation. That is why we end up having people committing suicide. It's because they don't understand what they're going through at that time.
And we then expect someone to sort of understand it, but yet we ourselves don't understand. And I think as young people, we are mostly the ones that are at risk of dealing with mental health.
Yes.
And we can't even identify some of these issues that we have. Have young people always had mental health in your view, or would you say that it's generational, or it skips a generation? Maybe our parents didn't experience it, and that's why we are experiencing it this heavily.
No. The mental health comes in all generations. Why I'm saying it comes in all generations is because there are generations of war, right? There were those generations of war. So those memories, they still are carried even in this generation that we are in. So now those back then, they have been dealing with the loss of their loved ones in the time of war, during the time when there was this segregation between white and black. So even up to this day, a lot of us are still dealing with that. We haven't really healed from that. You understand? So, yes, that. So now it becomes a bigger problem now, because now the system, the way the system is created, the way the life is supposed to be viewed at. We have social media. We have certain standards that our system sets for us. No, not understanding that not every one of us can be in that category. So because just only a handful can be on that category. Most who are below, they feel the pressure to get up there, not realizing that where they are, they can actually create a beautiful atmosphere where they can be that peace. Because mental health, main problem of mental health is when you don't have peace. When you don't have peace.
When you're constantly at war.
when you're constantly at war,
Yeah.
even with yourself, then your mental health is at risk.
Yeah.
Because you cannot find a purpose. That's another thing,
Yeah.
you know. So
I'm speaking of, I asked the question deliberately because I feel as if with us, especially the 90s kids, and I don't know if people can attest to this, I think we are the ones that we are more, I don't want to say prone, but we are the ones who are more exposed. And I think you touched on social media, and I think social media plays a certain role in exposing what we are dealing with, as opposed to our parents. They just went through it. They just went to segregation. They went through apartheid. They went to all these systems and structural discriminations, but it was not as rife as it was. And with us, it's just that we are putting it out there on social media.
Yes.
You know, Are we, so you're saying that we know that we're dealing with mental health?
Yes.
You say that we as youth, we know that we have mental health issues, or we are just going about this whole thing blindly, no, it's here, it's there, it's...
With a little bit of help that we get from social media. You know, as much as it has the negative effect, it also has the positive effect.
Yeah.
We have televisions, we have radios. There are people out there who are talking about signs and symptoms of these mental health that we face as youth. So we both know these problems. Problem is we cannot identify those with us. You understand? It's like, you know that there is such a situation. There's a illness called depression, right? But then when you are faced with it, you don't think you are faced with that. You just feel like, I'm lost, I'm lonely, nobody cares about me. Do all those things, not realizing that, oh, these are part and parcels of this of depression or of anxiety. You know.
So I wanted to say, how can then we see that you are faced with mental health? Because you spoke about being lost. You just now said that sometimes we see when somebody goes through the depression or goes through a certain mental health, but when we go through it ourselves, we cannot then identify and say it's depression, it's anxiety, it's this, it's that. How do we then see what I want to also say what wakes us up from that, I don't know, denial of saying I'm not dealing with mental health, or I'm not depressed, to say now I'm dealing with depression, or I'm dealing with a mental health issue?
It starts off with you wanting to eradicate yourself from earth. This is where it all starts. Once you get to the point where you feel you're no longer welcome here, where you feel your parents, even when you talk to them, whatever they say doesn't make sense to you, because all you want is, you're constantly going through a pain that you don't understand, and you feel that you can't even tell anyone about it. So the best option is taking your own life. Now, once you start feeling that, you feel like you want to take your own life, this is the first sign that you're going through a phase of depression. You're going through a phase of this. Now you are breaking down. Yes. So these are just simple symptoms of mental health. Sometimes it's you become forgetful of the you become forgetful, and then also you become very violent. And you don't even know where all this comes from. It's because of these suppressed emotions inside you. They have to come out. But now the way they come out, there is a situation that's triggering them to come out. Now when they come out in that way, they just blow. You know, and then you end up having to make bad decisions. So these are just simple, I'd say, symptoms
that we need to look out.
Yes, to look out for.
I don't know how to sort of like make reference to this. We are now, as the 90s kids, called a generation with hippie pictures. And as of recent, we have seen on social media and with other media outlets, AKA's case with the girlfriend. You know, we are recently seeing unfolding, I'd say, evidence or videos showing AKA busting into the room, you know, busting through the door. And some are saying, with that incident on its own, on how it happened when Anele dropped from whatever story of the hotel that they were staying in, that says that we are a set generation with happy pictures, because outside we are portrayed as this happily, we are gruba saying, we consume alcohol, we are sort of like happy outside, but inside we are dealing with a lot.
We are living on a life of masks. Right, we always change different masks in order to fit in with different crowd, different situation, different people. Yeah. Now, the biggest problem with this our generation is the I don't know if I can say this, but allow me, is the lack of a bit of self-realization or self-spirituality. It's the most important thing that we as this youth need to understand.
Yes.
That once we get to that point of knowing that actually there is more to this life than the eye can meet, the spiritual part of it, that once this is not touched, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You can have all the money, all the house, all the wealth, but if your spiritual part of life is not touched, you will always be affected by these things that affect the body. But knowing that on a spiritual platform you are beyond the bodily conception, then these things, they don't affect you so much the same way they would affect someone else, because you understand that, oh wait, I'm beyond this. All this is just material, it's temporary, it comes, it goes. On that. So when you understand that, then it's easy to fight this, because you understand it's not even a war, this is a battle. This is a battle where you get to learn your opponent, and now your opponent at this point is your own emotions. It's the words that people speak.
Wow.
So I think once we can get to that, we will be very much okay.
I'm getting chills. I'm getting goosebumps. I almost want to say, cut. Let's start again. Because you just went there. I wanna open up for questions. You speak. We don't know how to tap into our spiritual sort of like awareness or spiritual bodies. That everything is so physical and materialized.
Yes.
That and see and feel him and touch him. But we are not. Because I think what you're saying is, if we are in touch with that, then
paths for different people.
Yeah.
I don't want to come to that realization of your sixth sense, like you said, is that you stay in meditation. Go in a place that's very quiet. Don't think about what you're going through. During that time, don't think about what you're going through, and don't try to control what you're going through, because some people have a misconception of meditation. They think meditation is controlling what you think. That's not the case. You can't control the mind. The mind is to controlling the mind is like trying to harness the wind. You can't do that. Now, when you go into meditation, the first thing that you need to understand is, why do you go in meditation? Now, that is the center of your meditation. Do you want to go to realize who you are when you go through meditation? If that's the case, and then this is what you focus on. You focus on the self. There are certain words you can utter during the time of meditation, like myself. You say that this is what you want to know. This is what you want to understand. Then you'll be shocked. 7 days later, all these things, they don't matter anymore, because now you have touched a very important part of you. Yes.
I want to open up questions and invite our viewers and the ghosts that are with us to say a few words. But if you've dealt with mental health, or you have experienced a sense of loss or a sense of out of touch with self, how did you come back to that? How did you then find yourself? How did you then realize and be able to pinpoint and say, I'm dealing with this, and this is how I dealt with? I really would like your comments. Please leave them at the comment section below and share this live, and tell your friends that we're talking youth and mental health, and Mkhumbudzo is just dropping all pearls of wisdoms, really. Before I ask my second question, let's go to my ghosts who want to have questions. I saw you.
Always ever ask.
Yeah, please ask.
No, I actually wanted to ask in terms of like how we are socialized is contributing towards mental health. One. Two, I also wanted to comment on the whole happy
Third generation with happy pictures.
But so I always beg to differ with that. I'm calling it a concept because I feel like it's something that people are building it and they want people to subscribe to that kind of a thing. Because now, who takes pictures? Ali said, send that person here now. Right? That's one. Two, the reason why I'm also calling it a concept is because now, if that's a problem, why are we not coming up with solutions?
Thank you.
To become a better generation. Every generation has its own struggle. So if this is our struggle, how are we willing to take it out?
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Questions?
Yes, I did. Like you said, it's a concept. We are living in a world of concepts, actually. To be honest, we are living in a world of concept. Hashtag 1234. Hashtag 1234. So, and also the world is now revolving around paper or money, right? Each and everything that's put out there, it's out there to make money.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So now, the reason why we can't even find solution to this is because these are not problems. They're not really serious problems. Serious problems will always find solutions to them. But these are not problems. These are just things to make us be addicted to media. Something to talk about. You understand? But then now, we only see one side of the story. We don't see the rest of the story. You know, you see that, like you were saying about AKA, we only see him fighting with the girl, but we don't really know what the girl did in order to push him to that extent. I'm not saying he's right to do what he did, but then now we
find the trigger point.
Yes, we need to understand that both are in the wrong. They are in a relationship. When you talk about relationship, we're talking about two people, not just one. How this lady ended up throwing herself off the balcony, maybe a different story altogether. We may have our own concepts as to, maybe AK is the reason why and all that, but only to find that it's more, it's beyond what we think. You understand? So, I like the question that he raised. This, if we can come to a point where we don't need an approval. We don't need someone to approve to us that this is the life that we are in. We are not in that life. You understand? There's just, like you said, it's just pictures. People put pictures there of said people. And then now they put a picture of said person and they put a liquor there. Like, who's sad?
Who is?
At the end of it all, when someone drinks, their main purpose is to enjoy. You understand? And you have fun. So now if you put someone with a sad face and you say sad generation, and so you say the liquor is the reason why people are sad. You know, there's more. There's more beyond just liquor. You know, these pictures, they usually, I'm sorry to say this, but I get irritated a lot when I see only one side of the story. You know, I believe in yang and yen. I believe in balance. So if you're gonna show me just one side of the story that this generation is said, like he said, it is said, what are we going to do about it? What are we doing about it? What are we doing?
I think having conversation is one of those things that we then need to sort of like start tapping into for us to discover more and then come up with solutions. We have a question on the live. Viansa Mapena says, how do we help? Oh, thank you very much, Viansa, for tuning in. Says, how do we help someone who is going through depression?
Helping someone who's going through depression, it's tough. It's not easy. Because you're dealing with someone who's not their self. Right? So now, in my little experience, it's I would usually talk to someone who's very drained emotionally. And now when I talk to them, I give them a pen and a paper. And this has worked for me. I give them a pen and a paper. And I tell them, read everything, write down whatever you're feeling right now. Because there's more emotions in writing than in talking. So when you talk, you put everything in whatever it is that you're writing on that paper. The paper gets that your emotions, your writing has more emotions. Now, when you read all these things that are making you feel the way that you feel, and you read them out loud, now you're hearing these things. Now, when you hear these things, what do? Your heart starts to change that this is not the person I want to be. I cannot be conditioned to these things. You know, I can win this.
Yeah.
It's nothing,
Yeah.
because you are able to put them out there.
Yeah.
So in a sense, what I would say, my answer would be, give them a pen and a paper. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Give them a pen and paper. Yeah.
A pen and a paper to identify what they are feeling and really talk to that. To say what is it that they are feeling,
Yes.
and read out rather than hearing that.
Yeah.
But can lifestyle contribute to us being depressed?
Very.
Wow. I don't even have to finish that question. How so? How so?
Because there are people who, like I said in the beginning, there are people who set standards for us, right? There are people who set standards that we have to live on. But then now we also decide to follow blindly. And then now when you follow someone else's standards, you forget about yourself. Now you become in someone else's vibration while you are on your own vibration. Now the standard, their standard may be up there beyond even their own vibration, but they just said it, they put it there. That's not the life that they live. They're living a different life, but they want you to buy into that life so that they can have money that comes from you when you go to see a doctor about a certain disease. They set it up there so that you live that lifestyle. It's not a lifestyle that's meant for human. You understand? It's a lifestyle that's meant to regulate money. So first they give you a lifestyle that's going to cause your mental health. Now, in order for you to heal, you need to go see someone. Right? You need to, someone prescribes pills for you, you know, and then you take those pills, it's money. Now, you don't heal because you are busy taking the same pills that they give you, also have their own side effects. You understand? So you never really heal. So the lifestyle has to, if you can live the lifestyle that you grew up with, you understand? The lifestyle of being simple living and high thinking. That's all that matters. You know, you just live a simple life, but your intelligence is high. No one can touch you in that instance. No one can control you. But for as long as you want to live high and thinking low, then someone who's thinking high is bringing you to the low. Then they control you. You understand? So the best is simple living, high thinking.
We black, and as black kids or as black children, we are brought up differently. And I'm suggesting that you touched on spiritual well-being. We are also brought up in a spiritual way, that we need to go to church, that we need to you understand?
Yes.
We need to go there and perform certain rituals, or acknowledge the fact that we are living with people we have passed. As black people and living with our blackness and dealing with these, I wanna say, concepts of living, right? How do we don't let that affect us? Because I feel as if people want to say that it's not a white man's disease. Even us as black people, we experience it. I want to say we're experiencing it because we have sort of like forgotten our way of living.
Pretty much.
We have forgotten to go home. We have forgotten to when we get home, we need to pass by the Ganzelo and do the right things. We have forgotten to perform our spiritual lives, and so that then is lost. In your views, how would you best answer that?
The best answer to that is, at the end of the day, even if at home this is how you grew up doing that, but now there is another form of life. It's called the universal life. So now the universal life is, there is a path that the universe chooses for you, right? During the time when you grow up and you do these things, because our parents, they've created that trail for us to go. This is how they made their living, right? And then every time when you ask from the ancestors, they send the message to the universe. They send the message to God. You understand? This is my understanding, that they send the message to the universe. But then now the universe already has a plan for you, already has a path in which you have to take. Now, when you don't go through that path, you will always be confused. You will always be stuck in one place, and you know exactly where you have to go. But because you feel that there is a pressure of having to live a certain lifestyle, the one that you have to live, you overlook until you are on the brink of suicide. This is when the reality starts hitting. Then wait, throughout, every time when I do this, 1, 2, 3, 4 happens. But then when I do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 doesn't never happens, right? This is when you go back and you start looking back into your life as to where you came from. This is when the grandmothers are very important in the family. You know, our parents, they become very important because now you start asking them questions about your heritage, you know, where you came from, and then from where you came from, you know, what is it that you need to do. This is I don't know if this makes any sense.
It does. It does.
Thank you.
It does. I have you have a hand. You have a
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask. Yes. I wanted to ask, like, you know, we live in a very noisy world. on all levels. How important it is for one to
switch off
all the noise.
Yeah.
all the noise.
That's very important.
Yeah.
That's very important. Living in this world that we're living in, that's very noisy. Most of the truth are not in the noise, are in the silence. Most of your answers are not in the noise. They are in the silent. This is why I was talking about meditation, because during the time of meditation, everything is quiet. You completely shut down all the noises out there. Your senses, they become focused on one point. Now, when your senses are focused on one point, you can hear even sounds that other people cannot hear. So now all those sounds, they have the information that you seek as to where you came from before you actually even took birth in this world, where you came from. You understand? So this is a very beautiful question. Yes, it is important to have a quiet time with yourself. People don't like being with themselves. I don't know why, but it's very important to be with yourself.
All right. I have another question. Then I have another question. Then I have another question.
Just to pick up on what on the question you're happy and what Mumuti said. It is very much important to be all by yourself. It's a time to ask yourself questions, to reflect, to say, but am I on the right channel? The goals that I wanted to achieve, am I getting there? You know, am I winning? Am I losing? If you don't have a chance to ask yourself all of these questions, when are you going to get that chance to, interrogate? People don't like to interrogate themselves, hold themselves accountable. They like to be soft. Young people like to be soft with themselves. No, let me just numb everything. You can't numb. You have to face things head on. You have to face it head on and say, now, why am I going through this? What is it that I'm not doing so that I can, fix myself and get into the right channel? So it gets to switching off, not following every social hashtag that is there, and being honest with yourself and say, but then, where do I want to go? How do I get there?
That's very true. That's very true. That there's a reason why you are a human being, because your level of intelligence is different from that of animals. You can ask questions. You can ask relevant questions. So this is a best opportunity for you. When you're alone, all alone, you can start asking questions to anyone that you wish you want to ask questions to. Even when you're on your own, you start asking these questions, and you will be surprised how your life transforms from just being alone. This idea that someone has to come into your life and complete you, it doesn't work. Each and every one of us, we are a complete masterpiece. But if you're going to need someone to come into your life and complete you, what if they disappear? Then what's going to happen to you?
Then you'll remain incomplete.
Thank you. But you have to come to a point where you become self-complete, self-reliant. You are fulfilled with yourself. Whether someone comes in or they don't come in, it makes no difference.
My last question then is, how do we deal with mental health? I would tell you, we are living in a pandemic or living with a pandemic, so the sense of anxiety is on another level because we don't know who has it. We are scared to catch it. There's vaccines and all that. Also, on the other side, or on the similarly to that, we are living with gender-based violence. It's another pandemic. The LGBTQI plus community is experiencing deaths. As the members of the LGBTQI community, we live in fear, not knowing who your killer is going to be. So there's a sense of anxiety all around in general. How do we quiet down that? He asked about how do you quiet down the noise of the world, but how do we then quiet down the anxiety and start living, as if there is no pandemic, as if there is no the fight with HIV, as if there is no fight with depression. How do we quiet that down and start living our true lives?
This starts off with the self-realization part. This is where it all starts. Once you realize that the body is just a machine that you're going to use to get some of the answers, that these answers you already know them, but because you are engulfed in the body, you forget them. So this is where the reason why actually I feel that this pandemic is also type of a blessing, because the way it is, you are forced to tap into that spiritual life, the life you've always been running away from. You understand? The life where you get to realize the true meaning of your existence as to why you're here, without anyone forcing a path on you. You understand? So the best way, this is my understanding, the best way is if we can get in touch with ourselves. Forget about getting in touch with God, because you can't get in touch with God if you can't get in touch with yourself. You have to start first understanding what you are or who you are before you can understand someone who's just beyond that. You understand? So the self-realization path is very important. Once you can start with that, then you'll be happy. And it's so simple, but then easy for the easy and difficult for the difficult.
I have thoroughly enjoyed that. I will be kind and take a question.
Okay.
But
Okay. Just a quick thing, fella. I just wanted to add on the issue which Muzi touched on, blessing in disguise. Guys, most of the issues that we are going through are blessings in disguise. If you can sit down and you question, why am I going through this? You will find a good answer. Elomori will say, hey one. Seriously, you know,
I was not expecting that.
I feel like for me, this is what I've been going through a lot. You know, I'm like, but this is a blessing in disguise. But because of we are used to average, we are used to being on the average that we have, you know, termed our life. We don't realize actually there is more to the average that you are happy with. Excuse the pun. But now when you start to ask questions and, you know, open up these new pages about your life, you say, no, man, let me not worry about what I'm going through now, but let me embrace this moment and move on. When you move on, now you get to open up other exciting pages or, you know, of your journey. And you're like, you know what, I actually did a good thing by moving on and not sulking in the issues that I have been sulking on, crying and saying, no, this is end of my life. There is more. So in every blessing, in every hardship, there is a blessing in disguise which you need to look into. You'll find out more.
Monday motivation / clinical Monday. all wrapped in one. Thank you so much for being part of the feature. And thank you guys for making this happen. Thank you so much to Umuzi.
Thank you.
For being such an amazing sport. Really, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. It, like I said, it's both been clinical and motivational, and I hope that we are going to do this again. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I hope you did too. Don't forget to subscribe if you're on YouTube and leave your comment and your questions on the comment section on Facebook. You can follow Mukhumuzi on his social media platforms. I hope he has them.
on Facebook, Ntate Mahwai. And then on Twitter, someone is going to kill me.
Looking at you with the eye on Twitter.
It's
Muzi Palmist.
Yes.
Muzi Palmist.
Yes.
He's a palm reader. And / motivational speakers / other things. You can find out more on his social media platforms. I hope that you've enjoyed this as well. And until we meet again on Friday, where we talk all things jazz and mental health, how can the arts save us from mental health? Make sure that you are part of. It's a wrap on a Friday, just after 1 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.